today we've been getting you a whole host of reactions with respect to Mandate 2019 from the world of politics and India Inc. Time to touch base with Mr. Keki Mistry to give in his reaction, his perspective as well about the mandate. Mr. Mistry, welcome on board. It is a landslide victory for the BJP, a clear mandate. What is your first cut reaction?
My first reaction is to congratulate the Prime Minister and the NDA for a fantastic performance. This is an incredible result. It's a thumping victory. I mean, thumping is an understatement. It's a massive victory. And it's a clear mandate to the government now to be able to act decisively, which I'm sure the government will do. The Prime Minister has shown that he's very decisive in taking decisions, and I'm sure he'll continue to do that. I'm sure the focus of the government will now be on economic reforms in a bigger way, and growth will be one of the biggest targets that the government will have. And in this desire to grow, to grow the economy, to have higher GDP growth, I think job creation is very important. So sectors in the economy which deal with job creation will, to my mind, get a boost. And that would be in sectors like the rural sector, the construction sector, housing and construction. So let's talk of housing and construction. To my mind, the housing and construction sector is one of the largest employment generators that is possible to have. Housing creates so many jobs, whether it is construction workers, masons, carpenters, plumbers, engineers, and so on and so forth. It supports so many core sectors in the economy, be it cement, steel, paint, power, and so on and so forth. So by giving a boost to the housing sector or the construction sector, effectively you'll be giving a boost to all the core sectors in the economy. You'll create a lot of jobs. Job creation will lead to income. Income in the hands of people will mean people will be more willing to spend money. So consumption in the economy will increase. And if consumption increases, then automatically you start seeing higher and higher economic growth. So there is a multiplier effect that will be achieved by giving a boost to the housing sector. So I'm sure that is something the government will have in mind, will implement. And housing, rural economy, rural SME lending money to the weaker sections of the economy, the microfinance industry, I think these are the sectors which will get a boost when in the government.
But what, according to you, should be the top of the agenda for NDA 2.0? Which are, the steps that the government should immediately take? What are the issues they need to address immediately when it comes to liquidity crisis in the banking or the non-banking sectors?
Well, one is availability of liquidity, the other is the price of the liquidity, and the third is the availability of liquidity to the right people within the economy. So liquidity is available in the market, though perhaps at a slightly higher price than what one would like to see. Some more OMOs, I'm sure RBI will do, which will create more liquidity in the system. If liquidity in the system improves, then the pricing would also automatically come down, and any rate cut that is done by RBI, it will be easier for banks to pass on that rate cut to consumers. Now, coming to segments of the economy which are not getting that credit, that is partly arising out of fear, and that's what we talked about earlier, that there is a fear of NPLs, and I think that this is a very important concern which needs to be addressed. I think bankers need to be talked to, explained, convinced that just because there is a segment in the economy where there is a sense of weakness, so long as the company is well managed, so long as the company is adopting the right ALM processes, there should not be a fear of lending to those companies.
Well, another thing that has been on top of the government's agenda previously as well has been financial inclusion. But the large pockets of many sectors still function informally. What can be done in order to augment the same, or to sort of catalyze that, sector or that space?
So there has been a lot that has been done in terms of financial inclusion. There are so many schemes that the government has come out with in the last 5 years, and I'm sure that process will continue. But I mentioned earlier that the microfinance sector is one of the best ways of financial inclusion. So giving a boost to the microfinance sector will automatically result in higher degree of financial inclusion.
All right. right, Mr. Mistry, great chatting with you and great to get in your perspective as always with respect to the mandate 2019 and all the things that could or should top the government's agenda. With that.